All right, thanks so much for joining us here on ABC24 Plus. I'm Chief Meteorologist Trevor Birchett. Just wanted to hop on at least for a couple of minutes and talk about this heavy thunderstorm that we've got going on down in southeastern Shelby County. Now, it has been a situation where we've had thunderstorms off and on throughout the day today. We knew this was going to be a day that we would have at least the potential of some pop-up thunderstorms. We've had a few heavy ones out in Hardeman County near Bolivar right now, slowly tracking in towards Selmer. Most areas are dry right now, but by far the heaviest thunderstorm has been here in the Memphis metro over the last couple of hours. We'll switch to our high-res radar and you'll be able to see right about 4:30 we had thunderstorms bubble up right over Olive Branch, and then that kind of morphed into a storm that then made it into southeast Shelby County toward southeast Memphis, Hickory Hill, 385, and even into Germantown here over the last little bit. Now, this storm is weakening significantly. I do not expect it to be a concern any longer, but it was heavy there for a few minutes. So I did want to hop on at least for a little bit and just talk about this thunderstorm and any reports that we have been seeing. Something interesting to note before we dive too far into it, if you notice this green line on the radar, that's what we call an outflow boundary. And that is a really good sign that the storm is weakening. What happens is, especially in the summertime, these storms bubble up really quickly. They get really tall, but then there's not enough energy to support them. These aren't like the storms in April where they can go for hours and hours and hours. These last for, maybe a good 30 minutes. But then what happens is they start to collapse down on themselves. So all the wind inside the storm comes straight down and then spreads out. And as it does so, it picks up leaves and other small things in the wind. And that's what we see happening here. So this storm started to let out all of its energy, and it let that boundary out ahead of the thunderstorm as that gust of wind, kind of the exhale of the thunderstorm, pushes away from it. Now, we'll watch this because sometimes what can happen is these outflow boundaries can spark up other thunderstorms, but that's what that is on the radar. And you probably notice right now, if you're in, let's say, Fraser, Raleigh, North Memphis, New Chicago, downtown into South Memphis, you're probably noticing the wind picking up a lot. And what that is the thunderstorm down here in southeast Shelby County let all of its wind out, and that wind is now racing away from the thunderstorm. So might see some darkening clouds there, might see some high wind gusts, but again, that's just kind of the outflow from that thunderstorm moving away and moving to the west. So enough on that. Let's get into the thunderstorm and see what's going on. Again, really weakening here in the last couple of minutes. I'm not nearly as impressed with this thunderstorm as I was probably about 15 or 20 minutes ago. So still some heavy rain here along 385. That's from about, let's say, Riverdale down to about Forest Hill, Irene on 385. So it is still raining pretty heavy on 385. We've got some lighter rain now on Poplar Avenue between Germantown and Collierville, and then a little heavy rain there as well down near about Mineral Wells and the old Maywood area in northern Olive Branch, right there on the state line. But this storm is rapidly losing its intensity, and I would say within the next probably 10 or 15 minutes, this storm will be history, and we won't have to worry about it too much longer. I do want to go back here, probably, let's go back to about 5:16, 5:15. So this is now looking back in time, about 5:13, where those darker colors are showing up, those pinks and purples. We did have some reports of small hail falling, and that was right there at about Holmes and Distriplex area just east of Lamar, out there where all of those warehouses are. So we did have some reports of at least small-sized hail. The thing is, it's so hot that when it hails this time of year, it melts so quick. So usually we don't have large hail, but there is at least some small hail, or there was about 15 or 20 minutes ago. Also some very heavy rain. I was watching some flooding there along 385. As cars were kind of driving around out there, kind of pushing their way through all of that heavy rain. Let's check out some of the cameras here. We'll see what's going on out there now as the rain is at least starting to let up. We have a ways to go. It's still raining out there, but not nearly as bad as it was. This is at 385 in Riverdale. And even though the rain is starting to lighten up there, it is still very wet. You see traffic taking it slow up and down 385. So if your evening travels do take you along the 385 corridor, just be aware it's going to be a wet one, and it could be a heavy one. We've got the same situation kind of going on now at 385 and Winchester, and this is looking back toward Hacks Cross, and you see that rain ponding on the roadways. So this is a situation where you can easily hydroplane when that rain starts to cover up the roadways. You want to just take it slow, give yourself plenty of extra room between you and the car in front of you. We'll just check out Hacks Cross now just to say that we did. 385 at Hacks Cross, kind of the same situation there. Rain is coming down, and that's actually, that's the Hacks Cross exit there. Home Depot's back in that area, and you see the roads are definitely wet out there. So it is an evening, if you're out in southeast Shelby County, to take it easy. The wild thing is, everywhere else is pretty sunny. I want to take you to downtown now and show you what we're looking at there. And not too bad. We've got some clouds rolling in. I was just talking to you about the outflow boundary. As that storm out near Hickory Hill is collapsing, it's letting the wind gust out. So that wind is traveling all the way across the county. We just got a good gust of wind here in Midtown and downtown. It also brought in some clouds, but it does not look like any rain in downtown right now. And I do not expect any there. As we're starting to get toward the end of the day, the storms lose their heat. They lose that humidity to work with. I don't really expect much more in the way of storm activity. Sunshine in East Memphis out at Clark Tower, not a bad view at all. And then kind of the same situation here as we'll check out our last camera. And this was in Cordova at Hope Church. We had a really spectacular view. This was looking to the south of that first initial cell, the rain cloud coming down there right over Olive Branch. Go check that out on my Facebook page. That was Trevor Birchett, ABC24. Very heavy rain you could see off in the distance. Things starting to clear up there now in the eastern portion of Shelby County. So that thunderstorm really letting itself go. I mean, in the last hour, it bubbled up. Very heavy rain there over Hickory Hill, Parkway Village, Germantown, Collierville, Cordova areas, and now it has all but fizzled out. You see that ring kind of coming out around the storm. That's what we were talking about, the outflow boundary. That last gust of wind races out from the thunderstorm. Now we will watch, because that little boundary there, as it races away from the storm, it can help other storms to pop up, but we're getting so late in the day that I really don't expect too much more of that. Now, before I let you go here, of course, we had to get ready for the news at 6 o'clock, so we will be back streaming here in a few minutes. I just wanted to hop on for a little bit. We had some flooding concerns and a little bit of hail in Shelby County, so I wanted to at least come on and talk about that. Got another little cell we are watching. This is in McNairy County and Hardeman County. I was telling you about that just a little bit ago. Some indications with this one that this one could be sparking up a little bit. So there's Middleton right there along 64 between Bolivar and Selmer. Gusty wind, heavy rain, maybe a little small hail within that thunderstorm as well. We'll actually check out the lightning, and you can see about 75 strikes in there in the last, well, just updated, 200 strikes just in the last 10 minutes. So that is definitely a strong thunderstorm, heavy rain, flooding, maybe a little small hail. You know what these summertime storms can do. They are quick, they are small, but they are mighty. When they come down, they really come down. So between Bolivar and Selmer, just look out for that. National Weather Service says winds could be as high as about 40 miles an hour with some small hail in that thunderstorm. Everybody else pretty much dry. That storm in Shelby County out near Hickory Hill, it's fading away. I don't think that's going to be a concern here by about 7 o'clock, but do be aware if you are traveling in that area, the roads are still wet, and there could still be some hydroplaning issues to talk about. We'll get you a check of the 7-day forecast in case you missed ABC 24 News at 5 o'clock. I do think rain chances start to come down over the next few days. I know we've had the pop-up storms here recently. I think that's going to be less of a concern here. Rain chances really come down from here on out for the next 7 days. There is a slight chance of a thunderstorm or two tomorrow. Odds are pretty slim. Most of us are dry, sunny, and hot for Friday, a high near 95. Sunny and dry this weekend. Saturday and Sunday look great, but it is going to be very hot. 96 Saturday, 97 on Sunday, 98 with sunshine on Monday. We'll stay in the mid to upper 90s throughout next week. Heat index could be as high as 110 degrees in some spots, at least 105 with that extra humidity. So it is going to continue to be pretty warm out there. Of course, for the latest updates and information, stay with us right here on ABC24 Plus. It's the streaming home of ABC24. You can watch us on Roku, Fire TV, or Apple TV. We have continuous live streaming coverage there. Of course, you can also get the latest updates on your phone, iPhone or Android. Just search ABC24 in the App Store or in Google Play. We will be back for ABC24 News at 6 p.m. Be sure to tune in then on TV or, again, on our streaming app for Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. For now, I'm Chief Meteorologist Trevor Birchett. I'll see you at 6 o'clock.